doing such a superb job of what community colleges are here for our students to do, which is to provide opportunities for our students to come through and discover what they're capable of achieving, especially in engineering, math, and sciences, which is an area that you have dedicated so much of your life in so many different innovative and creative programs. And it's just an honor to have you here at the Cañada faculty. As an engineer myself, it's a subject near and dear to my heart, and I'm glad that so many of our students have had the opportunity, through your guidance, to learn the many wonderful things they can do in the world as an engineer. And whether they're veterans or whether they're students going right out of high school, whether they're re-entry students coming in, you've worked so hard to make this opportunity available to so many. I just want to thank you very much on behalf of the Board of Trustees and to congratulate you on this very well-deserved honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Trustee Manafern. And now Anthony Lynn from Congresswoman Anna Eshu's office.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Congresswoman Eshu could not be here today because she's in Washington, D.C. for votes, but she did want to take a moment to, of course, congratulate Dr. Enriquez. And then I know that Brian from Congresswoman Spears' office is going to share something else with you all. But she wanted to present a flag to Cañada College for all that you all do and your service to the community. So I wanted to present it in here.
Brian Perkins, Jackie Spears' office.
I've lost track of Dr. Enriquez. Here's a hint, that wasn't for me. So I think the day before yesterday you met with Congresswoman Spear in Washington. Congratulations. As I was saying to him earlier, he's probably seen more of her this week than I will. And I'm going to pick her up tonight at the airport. But I just want to say on behalf of Congresswoman Spear's office, first of all, this is a statement that Congresswoman Spear and Congresswoman Eshu placed into the congressional record in your honor, and it lists your achievements. And it says all the wonderful things that you've done. But we have, as I was explaining to the Chancellor, a community college student graduate in our house, and he just went on to do the engineering program at Santa Cruz, and math and science are his love. And America is special because students are able, if America is special, it's because students are able to make the most of what God gives them and what their teachers allow them to do. So between God and teacher, students are able to get equal opportunity. Thank you for working at the hand of God.
Right.
Presents all day. Yeah, you can't go away. And now, Alfonso Vera, the Deputy Consul Philippines, has something to present.
Oh, what? That's sick. Consul Philippines.
Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to share this proud and wonderful occasion. On behalf of Ambassador Sel Quisha and Consul General Marciano Painor, I'd like to present this certificate of commendation, simple token of how proud and nice in your achievement.
You can go, don't go far. And even Dr. Enriquez has a boss, Janet Stringer, our dean. His dean.
Glad you could all come. They asked me to say just a few words about how it came about that we nominated Dr. E for this award. Some of you know me well, some of you don't. But where I was a graduate student, a lot of our faculty had won various awards, various grants. And I said, is the faculty really that good, or is there something here? Well, the faculty was really that good, but what happened was the department chair found things and said, here, apply for this, apply for this, apply for this. This is what you're eligible for. And he pushed people to do that. So I've always done that. And when I ran a lab, all my postdocs applied for postdoc awards and postdoc grants. And that's how you really, really, get out there and get these things. If you don't apply, the answer is always no. You will not be given something unless you try for it. So I came here in 2008, and I immediately started, I read, he beats me to it many times, the Federal Register and the newly announced awards for NSF, and the presidential award came up and said, oh, it's due. Well, I knew somebody who got it before, and I said, well, this person didn't do half the stuff that half of our faculty do. This is a teaching institution. This is what we do. We mentor people and we teach. You don't have to do research. You don't have to get a grant to keep your job, which is what it's like in other places. So I said, who would be at the top of my list to nominate? And one of the criteria, I don't know if he'll mention it, but you actually have to be able to pass a security check to get into the White House in order to get this award. You can be absolutely qualified and the best mentor in the entire country, but if you can't get into the White House, you can't get this award. So I brought him into my office and I said, is there any reason why you might not be able to get into the White House and pass a security check? Because I don't know what he did when he was really young. He didn't tell me what he did when he was really young, but he said that yes, he would pass the security check. And I said, well, I would like to nominate you for this award, but you're going to have to help me put this together, and you're going to need to get letters from students. And I had no clue the extent. I knew he was good, but I didn't know the extent of the things that he had done over such a long period of time until we started seeing these letters come in from the students. And after the award was announced, after, it's been 3 years since we wrote the nomination. It seems like it's been a long time. Robert Hood asked me if we could get some quotes from some of the students, and I started rereading the letters, and I said, I can't pick out one sentence. It's the whole body of this. He means so much to so many students that have come through here. But I just want to, my congratulations go to Dr. E. He's absolutely deserving, but we all contribute to this too. He couldn't do what he does without Mesa, without the Learning Center, without the other faculty support, and Danny to pick out his clothes, and David to fix his dinner for him, and his mom to give him his support, and you do owe me a photo. So congratulations to Dr. E, and thank you all for coming. There's a few students here who would like to make a few comments. You can go in any order. The order I have is Juan Quint. You want to go first? You're first on my list.
Well, my name is Juan Quan. I shortened out the letter that I wrote for Dr. E just for this occasion. Okay, my name is Juan Quan, and I attended Cañada College from 2004 and 2008. Where I had the pleasure of meeting Professor Amelito Enriquez, or Dr. E, as most of us already know him over here. I transferred to San Jose State and graduated in 2008 from in mechanical engineering, and I'm currently working at Shell Oil. Today, I'm fortunate to stand here with two people that have impacted my life like I never thought. First is my girlfriend over there. She encouraged me and supported me through the ups and downs of my education and never gave up on me when I stumbled and failed. And we have second right here, Mr. Amelito Enriquez, whom we're here today to congratulate on receiving this prestigious award for his tenacious dedication to making past, current, and future students succeed. Dr. E, I constantly thank the higher beings that put you in my path of education. Honestly, I would not be standing here today celebrating this achievement without your support and friendship. A quick background about myself. My parents immigrated from Nicaragua to the United States in the 1980s during our country's civil war and came over here as political refugees. My parents began working as children, and their highest level of education was middle school. Consequently, when they came over here, they both worked as janitors. As you know, living on janitor's salary provides housing in low-income communities, and consequently, I attended schools that were low performing. I attended these schools and learned early on that college was not an option in life for me. Presently, I feel strongly that I could not have gotten to where I am today without the personal support and guidance provided by Dr. E and the exceptional engineering foundation provided to students through the engineering program established here at Cañada by Dr. Enriquez. Dr. E, you truly possess the unique talent to teach difficult material, and you are able to motivate us students to learn beyond our own self-limiting and perceived potential. And most importantly, you master the ability to build confidence in us. Dr. E, your talent is rare, but is a precise caliber of talent and dedication desperately needed within our educational system, especially among us students of color who come from underserved communities and underserved communities and poor performing pre-college institutions. Now I'd like to share with you guys a perfect example of Dr. E's talent over here. And it's that quote right there that it's on there. That's one of our quotes between me and him. Okay. I can recall one day I stayed a couple of hours after class to finish an assignment in Dr. E's graphics class. All the other students had finished the assignment, and I was the only student that remained in the classroom. I was completely stuck, and my lack of confidence resurfaced. Dr. E approached me and asked me how was I doing. I answered his question with a question that was going through my head. Do you think that I can become an engineer? Without hesitation, he said, yes, and explained that although it may be easy for some students, my personal determination was my strength, and it would readily help me accomplish my goal of obtaining an engineering degree. That conversation meant a lot to me. Looking back now, I understand that Dr. E saw my vulnerability, and he was able to guide me to recognize my own strengths, a valuable quality which he continues to instill in his students. It takes a special person and a special gift to reach out to students who face adversities and obstacles and ignite within us a sense of confidence and ultimate self-worth to fulfill our full potential and truly realize that we have the ability to determine our own future and happiness. Dr. E, you possess that gift. Dr. E, you continue being a professor, a mentor, a confidant, and an inspiration to me, to current and future engineering students. You are an exceptional leader who continues to make a positive impact within our educational system. And finally, Dr. E, I'd like to thank you for building confidence and shattering that glass ceiling that I have put in front of myself. You know, my lack of confidence, negativity sometimes, and you were there for me.
Next, Rusbeh Parsa, who started out as a student here, and he's currently on adjunct faculty. Finished his exams yesterday.
Woo!
Nearly turned in his grades.
Thank you. It's a great honor to be here. First of all, I'm happy for Dr. E receiving all these awards, because hopefully it gives you an opportunity to clean that office. All the books and lab equipment you have, and we put these instead in there. One more comment that was mentioned, that they teach here. In terms of Dr. E, if you don't want to teach, you force it into your brain. I don't know how many of you know him prior to 1998. Okay, few, yeah, good. So that's the first time I met him, and my family and I just came to US, and I think I went through the list of classes at Cañada, and there was an electrical engineering class, so I said, okay, we'll go sit there, see what happens. And it was me and two other students in the class. And then this young guy, back then younger, walked, and I looked at him and said, well, you know, he's definitely not in the right place because it's not physical education department giving his muscular. But then he went behind the table and started giving lectures. And believe it or not, it was very hard for me at that time to communicate and just with formulas and say stuff. And it took me probably, maybe 5-10 minutes to after the class just tell him that I want to sign up and tell me what to do. I think everybody, knows the great things Dr. E has done for all of us. I talked about on behalf of many of the students he has had. It's very rare to see teachers running after students, right? You expect, students run after teachers, but I don't know for what reason Dr. E comes after you. If you don't want to apply to school, he'll change your mind to apply to these schools. And as was mentioned, late nights he stays, make sure to understand this stuff, and holds your hand to the last step. Another good ability Dr. E has is recognizing your goals and strengths. Very quickly, he understands what you're good at, what you want to do, and he directs you in those directions. I remember Judy here. Judy? Yeah, there. I think it was in 99 or 2000 that Mesa was just about to start here. And I remember from the first meeting, Dr. E managed to pull me into those meetings and get me involved. And so that was very good, very nice. That added a lot to me. But there are two things that I want to say. So everybody's talking about positive stuff. Now my time to get back. Two things that as a student, how many of you guys had taken class with Dr. E? Okay, there are a few students. Oh boy, that first lecture, I hated it every single class because he makes you go through a game that is no fun. Yep. It's called name game. Yep. That he makes you stand around the room and introduce yourself, and then the next person should tell what was the other person's name, then the guy, and then goes around the circle. So by the end of the class, by the end of the loop, you should be able to say who and what they want to do. I didn't like it back then. I still don't like it, but now I see the value because breaking that ice and making that community helps a lot throughout your career here to be friends with other people. In terms of eyes of the faculty, I think my professor at school won't like you much because every time I rated them, you were the bar, and they never met that bar, so they always got low rating. Now, to my students who are in the room, just watch out what you're gonna do. I haven't put your grades in yet. But with all that, I'm very honored. I'm sure nobody else better than you could have received this award. I hope you still have time to teach after all these stuff that you have to do, and I hope students really understand what an opportunity they have here. Dr. E made Cañada sort of home for me, so I always look back at here and he manages to pull my leg here every semester or so to teach a course. But I hope you guys will feel the same after you leave Cañada. Thanks a lot and congratulations.
I was nervous, might say something really bad. The last student who's agreed to say a few comments is Claudia Espino. Claudia, I know she's here.
Hi everyone. It's an honor for me to be here and talk about my experience, how I met Dr. E and how he inspired me to become an engineer. I remember. I want to tell you. I want to share a story with you about how I met Dr. E. I was really confused. I always knew that I liked math, but I wasn't sure that I wanted to do math. So I was also interested in psychology courses. So I took a class, a career and life planning class, and one of the assignments was to interview 3 people in the fields that you were interested in. So I had to do 3 informational interviews. So I interviewed, since I liked psychology, I interviewed the college psychologists at that time. And then I wanted to have my own business, and I interviewed a business owner. And then because I like math, I ran into Dr. E, and I forgot how I got his contact. So we arranged an interview, and I showed up, and he was, I was waiting for him outside of his office, and he showed up, and he was, I remember he always had a smile on his face. I've never seen him mad. He was always smiling. And then I introduced myself, and I said, hey, I'm Claudia, I have the informational interview with you, and I started asking him questions about engineering. And he's like, yeah, you should become an engineer, you know? And I'm like, well, can you kind of explain to me what engineering is all about? I don't really have a grasp about it. And he said, he just put it in basic terms. You know, engineering is about solving society's problems. Engineers create, design ways in which to make our lives easier. So, and he's like, you know, you don't have to, because I said, I don't want to really like do math, pure math. I want to do like applied math. And he said, you know, you can use math and physics principles to solve society's problems, and you can major in engineering. So that's why I decided to go into engineering. And actually, I'm really amazed about the quality of teachers that we have at Cañada, because I was really prepared to go to Berkeley. I came to Cañada from 98 to 2002, right after high school, and then I transferred in 2005. I transferred in 2002 at UC Berkeley, and then I graduated in 2005. But I was really scared to go to Berkeley because, you know, they have a really rigorous curriculum. It's pretty challenging. But I was really glad that I took classes with Dr. E and also other professors as well. But Dr. E's teaching style, it's amazing. You know, I was prepared in Berkeley because they make you think outside of the box, so it's not like they don't give you like a straightforward answer. So I was really glad that I was able to come to Cañada, and it's like it was a second home to me. And I really admire the way that Professor Enriquez goes behind students, approaches students, and tries to motivate them to study engineering. And not only that, but he stayed. I remember he stayed past office hours, like past the class hours, and he would like, you know, he will stay there for a long time. I remember even for midterms or finals, like after the class was over, he will stay until the last student will turn in the exam. So it's pretty amazing to see that there's professors that really care for teaching, and I can tell you that because at Berkeley, I met two kinds of professors. There's professors who are really arrogant and they really focus on the research. Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, seems like teaching is a second priority for them. I guess because Berkeley is a research institution and it's well understood that, I mean, they have to focus on the research. But I noticed that teaching became a second priority. So I was so glad to have met Dr. E, and it's really, he has inspired me to be who I am right now. And I had, like I said, I had doubts about whether to become an engineer or not. So I'm excited that I was invited, and I'm really happy that you got the award. And I remember when you asked me to write you a nomination letter, I said, you know, I said no. Sorry, I had no doubt. I had no doubt about writing the letter to him, and I'm really glad that you got the award. And actually, another thing, Dr. E, so we are still in touch. After I graduated from Cañada and finished Berkeley, we're still in touch because we have the same goal, promoting engineering. So I'm part of an organization, Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, and I like to do outreach. So I like to promote engineering among minority students, because the higher you go up in education, and so also in technical fields, you don't see a lot of people of color. So I'm like, no, we have to promote engineering, especially about the minority students. So we've done projects together. At one time, I remember I asked you about, I was working on a family science night in Hoover School, that it's like 99% minority students. And we organized the family science night where parents and students came, and they were working on science projects. And I asked Dr. if he could help me, and he could help me gather volunteers. And yeah, he helped me gather volunteers, but I never thought he was going to show up. He actually helped me. He was actually helping set up the experiments, the tables, everything. He was interacting with the families, but I thought he was someone going to help me like gather the volunteers. So that really touched me, that he's always there, no matter when you need something. I don't think he has ever said no to me when I ask you something. Like, you're always nice, and you always find a solution for something. And up to this point, we have different projects to work together for the youth and to motivate them to go to college and major in engineering, hopefully. So that's all I have to say. And, thank you so much.
Thank you, Claudia. We had 3 listed, but I was told that there was a 4th student who wanted to make a few comments. Alvarez? Alvaro? Is that true? Is he here? Would you like to say a few words?
Sure.
I don't want to put you on the spot.
That's the push Dr. Enriquez.
Yeah. Well, you know, we needed, I think we had to send in 5 letters. One was a letter of nomination. We needed letters from 4 students. So you asked, what, 7 or 8 to make sure he got the 4, and we ended up with 12. The word got out. He needed letters, and so many of the students just stepped up, and it was so hard. It's one of the hardest things I've done since I've been here is to pick which ones to send in. I mean, they were all extremely compelling.
Hello, my name's Alvaro Martinez. I'm a former student here at Cañada College and a former student of Dr. Enriquez. I graduated from the Community College School District in 2006 and went out to Cal Poly in San Luis Obispo and finished there in 2009, working in the Bay Area now as an engineer. But I first met Dr. Enriquez in 2005. I signed up for his statics class, and I lived out in San Francisco, but I heard a lot of good things about this engineering professor over at Cañada, because I had a couple of schools that were closer to me. And being an engineer, you know, there's classes are kind of tough and intense, and you know, I was a little nervous about taking all these classes. I didn't have a lot of confidence in my ability, I guess, in school. But after my first class with Dr. E, there was just no way I was going to go back to City College. It's like I'm doing the rest of my classes. He made the material really understandable, and I had a lot of professors throughout my college experience, and I mean, I could really tell that this guy, he prepared for his classes. It wasn't, you know, just go in there and give you some material and walk out. He really took the time to understand the material and explain it to you. So I really liked that about taking his classes, so I decided to just keep going. And it didn't really stop after I transferred, you know. It's like once you're a student of Dr. E, you're always a student of Dr. E. After I left to go to Cal Poly, a lot of people have said that this is like a second home to them. It truly is. For me too, it was. I still come back, and even when I was a student at Cal Poly, I would come back here. And there was this one time when I was taking a class at Cal Poly, and I was having some trouble in that class. And I decided I'm going to go home early. You know, there's a break. I'm going to go home and visit, take my stuff up to Cañada, and I'll study over there. So I came up, I visited Dr. Enriquez, said hello, and pulled out my books and started studying. And he came up to me and started talking to me and asked me how things were going. And I told him, you know, I'm really struggling with this class, and I got this exam when I get back on Monday. And you know, I didn't even have to ask him. He just grabbed my book and started going through it. And started going through the material and sat there with me for about an hour and a half, and just explained it to me. And you know, we sat there. I don't know what we were working on, vessel functions or something. But you know, he doesn't hesitate to help. It's like an instinct for him, natural instinct. So I mean, I think that's great, and that's something that I think a lot more of our professors and teachers I'm happy for you, Dr. E. I mean, I think there's nobody better that deserves this award, as I said in my letter. And congratulations.
This is Amelito's partner of many, many, many years, so he's going to tell us some inside stories.
He didn't know I was going to do this.
It's not true.
When you have, for disadvantaged students who come from backgrounds where they've attended poor schools, they often don't believe that they can succeed, and they don't set their goals very high. And I wanted to explain to you why he is so interested in making sure that his students succeed, and how he himself has really come so far. And I don't think that anyone knows this, because he does not talk about his personal life, his own how he was brought up. But basically, I know the whole story because I've been back to the village, and I've seen, he grew up in this little house, and at the time he was growing up, this little village, Cameroon, was out in the boondocks. It was part of, it's about 60 miles from Manila downtown, but back then it was surrounded by farmland. It was muddy streets, and if you can call them mud. I mean, it was really, sometimes it got flooded. And he grew up in this house, and he had no electricity until he was 11 years old. He would study for his school by a lantern light, and he didn't have books when he went to school. The teacher had a book, and each class, during the class, a student would be called from the people there, and they'd come up to the board, and they would write out of the book and onto the blackboard, and the students would write that stuff down, and that's how they would learn these things. And his teachers weren't of high quality. The only teacher of real high quality he had was his mother, who was also his first grade teacher. And he was the top student in his first grade class. At the end of the school year, another parent came up and said, "Hey, what's up with this? Okay, my student was second. Okay, I think he's better. Okay." And Aurelia said, "Fine, you don't believe me? All right, let's test them." I don't think any test actually happened, but he was first in that class, and he maintained his first rank in every class after that. And part of Amelito was that he was the youngest of all of the siblings there. He had 3 sisters, and he didn't like being the youngest because he was, told to do things and bossed around quite a bit. And so he determined that he was going to show up his sisters any chance he could get. Okay, and one story I remember was a recital for piano. And in the Philippines, they're very big on having showing off your musical skills. And his sister had studied weeks on this piano recital. This piece that she was going to do at the recital. Okay, and Amelito also joined the recital. Okay, and he's younger now, and the sister, she gives her performance there. It's very nice. Okay, and Amelito, who taught himself how to play the piano, he comes up after her. Okay, and to to her consternation, okay, he comes and plays the exact same piece, okay, far better than she did, okay, and gets this standing ovation there, and his sister should really just see that. He didn't even practice the piece. And he was the first person in his Cameroon high school. Well, first off, going to high school, he went to high school starting at 11 years old. Wow. And then he would be, he applied to University of the Philippines, and if you don't know, the University of the Philippines is the greatest school in the Philippines. It's like the Harvard over there. And no one in his high school had ever gone to the University of the Philippines. And nobody thought that he would ever get into that school. And I don't think, since him, I don't think anybody has ever gotten into that school from his high school. But he understood nobody had ever done it, so he wanted to do it. And after he was fortunate to, his sisters got him a student visa to come to America. He came and he went to Ohio State and he got his master's there. And then he went to University of UC Irvine, got his PhD there. And in 1995, he really wanted to find a teaching position, and that's how he came to Cañada. So he's the type of person who, whatever people told him he couldn't do, he decided to prove them wrong, and he has tried to his best ability to give that same thing to his own students, and to make them feel that they could do the same thing. So, thank you.
Myself, I wasn't going to say something. What am I going to say? Okay, I would just, this is my day, right? So you're going to do whatever I tell you to do. So let me just go down the list. If your name is Janet Stringer, raise your hand. And if your name is Kathy Light, raise your hand. I want to thank them for making this possible. They did the nomination. If you've been involved in, say, the Engineering Institute, please raise your hand, either as a faculty or a student or staff. There's my partner. Just seeing how much she works, and that lady has a lot of energy. And the Engineering Institute students, you inspire me as well, the way you work hard during that time. If you've been involved in Math Jam, please raise your hand as an instructor or staff. All these people I'm mentioning, they all deserve part of this award. It's not just me doing all this thing. If your name is Vicky Moons, please raise your hand. In charge of our business office, and she's also a good friend. We work 11 midnight, 11 p.m. Saturday, Sunday.
Every night.
Yeah, he knows. If you. Yeah, she makes everything look so easy because she makes me look good. Not only physically, but also because of the way she does the work. Involved in the NSF scholarship program, as a mentor, please raise your hand. As a student, they helped me make that program also successful. if your name is Jim Vanitis, please raise your hand. He really is one of the people who got this started. I applied for an HP grant, and he was managing that grant, and that really gave me confidence to go after, other grants. If your name is Judy Litkey, she had to leave, but she helped the whole college start our MISA program. If you're involved in the NASA internship program, I think they already left. Either as hi, as a student or faculty, they're all back there. Thank you. Also, you deserve part of this recognition. It's really I am so happy to have found this place, and this is really the perfect job for me. You know that, right? Just having, you can see it, if half these people show up for my memorial, I'll be happy. So much for when I go look for a Mother's Day card or Father's Day card, it kind of upsets me that, I have the best mother in the world, I have the best dad. They don't know my mom, they don't know. They have some, I shouldn't go there. It's not fun. My dad is up there now. This is for you. Did you see how my mom looked like a giant in that picture? She's really little. In so many ways, she's a giant. Thank you all.
For coming in. I have it on good authority from the mayor of Redwood City. There's still proclamations to come, but only so much of them. There's a photo booth, I think, in the back, having your picture taken with because it will be worth something. And I'm told not to excuse me, so you can't leave.
No one.
But anyways, again, thank you all for coming and making this such a special event for a very special Amelito.
And the only boy in the family. But ever since he was born, he was so humble and very kind and loving to me. She never forgets me. She never leave me unattended. Always. I love him so much. I don't know what to say to these people who are giving him honor. I'm really very proud. Thank you.
They're gonna say.
he's a good pianist. And a good dancer too.
Thank you all for coming.
There are cards. You can leave a message for Dr. E. We're going to put it in a book for him. There's a photo booth out there. Please get your picture taken.
Well, this one is.
Sorry. Oh, hey, Nate. How you doing?